Yo ho ho! More lovely thoughts from Tumor Town with Bruce. Kind of continuing in the health kind of arena, the whole thing of Tumor Town. Now that was a term coined by Hitchens, I believe, Christopher Hitchens, and I remember reading it and it stuck with me. You know, because when you do get a cancer diagnosis with a tumor, or I'm assuming some sort of other uh, terminal diagnosis, basically, it puts you in a different world from everybody else. Everybody else lives in normal town. You live in little tumor town. Because things are different for you now. You see things different. You think of things different. You know, things touch you differently. And I know, people all mean well. Everybody wants to be well and be your buddy and be supportive, But it's like, folks saying, hope you're feeling better. You know, to say that to me, I mean, I appreciate the thought, but it's not something that's going to happen. You know, I'm not going to feel better. That boat sailed a long time ago. You know, I'm not going to feel better. I'm sorry. You can smile and wish it all you want, but it's just not going to happen. And you hear it, over and over. And just when you're out in the world, even when you're at an oncology clinic, a cancer clinic, where they know why you're there. Have a lovely day. Really? You're telling me to have a lovely day? Do you realize that that's really not possible? Really? I mean, I haven't had a lovely day in a couple of years. I mean, man, eh, you know, you just kind of got to go with the punches. But at any rate, here you are in Tumor Town, and you have to see it for what it is and live with it through where it goes. And when I was going through the process, I have to say that the American healthcare system certainly disappointed, as I really would have expected. I mean, the first oncologist I go to basically sees me, but then doesn't really follow up with anything. And you call his office, you get his staff, and his staff are like, well, do you do, they're like hesitant to follow up and to do anything. I'm like, no, forget it, right? So I go to the other guy. I go to him, and he's, comes into the room with this, 4 or 5 other doctors with him, right? He's the head of the, Cancer Institute. Well, okay, fine and dandy, whatever, you know. But as you go along in that process, you still get the feeling that not him, nor anybody in his team, is really thinking about me. They're not. They're just going through the motions. This is what we do. This is the protocol. This is what he's going to go through. This is how we're going to do it. This is the deal. Push. Just boom. Go. Right? They just don't care. Now, I say that, when you go to, say, the infusion center to get your chemo or to get an immunotherapy, it struck me that everybody's in their own little cubicle, right? Isolated off from everybody else. Yet we're all in there for the same reason, right? And I'm like, wouldn't you think it would be better to have all of those chairs, those recliners, out in an open space, kind of in a circle? so we can all see each other, so we can all interact and talk with each other, you know. Now, you don't have to force somebody. You can say, if you'd really rather have privacy, you can be over here. But if you'd like to, interact with the group, here's, whatever. But that was never an option, never an option. And I very much would have liked that. I would have liked to have talked to the other people and shared with them. Because otherwise, so much of the journey you spend alone. And that is really hard. Because you really don't want to lay it all off on, your spouse, your family. It would be nice to have had a group that you could have, shed some of that with, But it didn't happen. Didn't happen. Not through chemo, not through immunotherapy. And the other thing that struck me was, I would have thought you might have, put somebody in the lead, a particular nurse, a particular specialty of nurse or something, maybe, at the very beginning, and said, I'm your lead, okay? I'm going to contact you regularly every week to see how you're doing, to see what's going on, so that we catch anything that's going wacky and we deal with it quick. Or if you need anything, I'm there to help you and to support you, Now you can say, oh my God, imagine the expense of having one person for every person. But of course it wouldn't be like that. You'd have one nurse for 10 patients maybe, whatever. But just somebody that made you feel as if, your care team cared, that they were there looking for you. They were going to be there. If a side effect started, they were going to catch it quick, going to nip it in the bud, deal with it fast, But no such thing. No such thing, And I haven't found that through the system yet, to be honest with you. The current oncology guy we're working with is probably better than the ones we've had, at this point. He seems to have a little more interest and a little more care, but again, it's only to a point. There's nobody at his office that's checking in with me or anything, And that's why this tumor town, you almost feel like you're locked into this place, And you look at the rest of the world to the outside, and the rest of the world looks outside looking into you, And, at some points I feel like, I'm supposed to put on a happy face and, be positive and do all these things, so other people will feel good and won't feel bad, But that's really not in my nature, and those of you who know me know it isn't. That's why I asked early on, that all my friends, colleagues and stuff, please don't, keep calling me or emailing me or texting me about how am I doing, blah, blah, blah. Just know that if you haven't heard from me, I'm still alive. I'm still plugging. We're still going along. And when the time comes, I will let you know that, the end is near. And if you really want to see me, you can, or you want to call me or speak to me, you can, And, I'm having second thoughts about even that now, whether or not I really even want to bother with people at that point, and mess up with their lives, They're on with their lives again, They're knowing about my diagnosis is 2 years in the past, They're well on with their lives, Just a quick note, hey, Bruce passed away. It's probably all they really would ever care about. I don't know. We'll see. But that's Tumor Town. And, I wish I wasn't in it, to be totally honest with you. But once you're in, you can't get out. Well, I guess you can get out if you get cured and you're lucky enough to go that route. That would be nice, right? Not happening for me, but it would be nice. So, but we can only hope. All right. We'll come back with more thoughts later when I have a better mindset. Time for me to go have a sip of Coke. Thanks, everybody. Peace and hang 10.